Now, the character, Aaron Ralston, you know, I was just talking to the screenwriter, Simon, and he was saying that he was sort of a superhero in a way, and that this was something that had to be dealt with, that you had to make him, that Aaron actually ended up giving him a lot of real material about how he was a flawed character. He wasn't really a superhero. Could you talk about who he was and how you brought that into this?
I felt very strongly that he was the perfect specimen as a human being. Specimen in a very strict sense of the word. He is athletically perfect, very bright man, physically perfect, bold, challenging, courageous, but not a perfect man. In many ways, the most perfect specimen cannot be a perfect man. There was no room for error.
He was confident that he could go off by himself and nothing bad would ever happen to him.
And this little stone, I mean, it is so extraordinary. This little stone just goes, wait a minute. And he looks at the stone, says, this is ridiculous. This is insane. This isn't me.
Yeah.
This is a little fucking stone. And he starts tearing at it in the 22-minute take. And it's there to tell him, right, here, now, as Aaron learnt, now look at your life. Now look at yourself. And what will get you out of here is not your superhumanism. It's something else will get you out of here, you know. Because he was a perfect specimen. He was superhuman going in there, you know. And that's what I think the story is often told in that way. But there's a much more interesting thing beyond that. And it's clearly an act of enormous fortitude, what he does. But beyond that, there's something else as well, which is deeper, really. Which I don't think you've seen the new ending, Anne, but we finally found it, really, I think, which helps focus that feeling of the group, the kind of the pull of the crowd back, which we feature at the beginning as a kind of montage thing, but it's actually very, very important at the end, and I think we finally found that. I think subsequent to when you saw it, so.
I think I saw it late in the day. But I talked to the writers about that. That the ending was a tricky one for you. It was hard to find.
He kept going on about it. He kept saying, well, he said, I mean, I'll do it. The scene's good, but you'll never use it. I thought,
was he right?
I thought, of course he's not right. But actually he was right in the end. Because we did. And it was interesting. I remember there was lots of times when you said, I can't say this line. He would never say that. And I'd say, oh, go on, say it, please, because at least we need to get that information over. And he'd say, all right, I'll say it, but you'll never use it. So he'd say the things, and then I'd listen to them a few weeks later and think, yeah, he's right. I should cut that. And then cut it. He's like, but we did change the ending, and it was a much more, it's a more unconventional ending now, stylistically, although it's more in keeping with the rest of the film.
It keeps on because we shot these scenes at the end that when you know he's interacting with other characters, and so first of all it's just like we've never in the rest of the film we hardly have any scenes like that where actually the characters talking to other characters. So that it just felt weird. It felt like, wait, this isn't the movie that we've been making for a month and a half. And then we had been. I felt like we had been giving the audience information in a very specific and unique way, and suddenly we were doing it back in this very conventional way. Yeah. And you could just feel it. Yeah, and Danny felt it too. I mean, I know he felt it because everybody was kind of different when we were shooting those scenes. It was like, you know, they were trying to decorate the set, like to make it look good, and we, you know, and composing shots in a different way than we'd ever done in the canyon.
Done anything like that, I know.
And it was all
making
different.
Another film, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Suddenly it was making another film. Yeah. Anyway, so we solved that. Yeah. But it took me a while to get there because I'm quite stubborn, and I kind of like I had this idea, and it's like, no, these scenes have to play out like this, and I couldn't quite see it, and then I suddenly saw it, and it just flowed very. It was sort of something just waiting to be discovered, really. So.
I wish I could talk to you more, but they're signaling me. I'm having such a good time. But